Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Chaos Head. Last time, Takumi, it's been revealed that Takumi may actually not be a real person and they're actually a delusion. And Momose is about to reveal some interesting information about a organisation called Faith something, I can't remember what it was called. And she's like, hey Yua, if you want to get out now, now's your opportunity because things are going to get dark. And let's carry on. Yua is not leaving. She's gone this far. Ban also insists that Yua stays and says we can always leave her at the station if we need to. And I think that's about all you need to know. Okay, let's go. Okay. I understand. Yua nodded, her expression far stiffer than before. Upon seeing that, Momose sighed once more, then proceeded to take a seat. Chris Hansen came in, Momose hunching her already rotund body forward to getting burned by the narrator. Momose hunching her already rotund body forward operated the mouse connected to a laptop. So, what popped up about FaithWorks? That's what it was called, FaithWorks. And let's just say your gut was right on the mark. Both Ban and Yua appeared at the monitor from behind Momose. FaithWorks Limited parent company is Nozomi Technology. Oh, we've heard of that, right? Nozomi Technology. From the Nozomi Group. Now that's a surprise. Oh, there we go. 5 years ago, FaithWorks merged into Nozomi Group, and from that point forward, one after another, all of their products became a big hit. It's not just the Jiro Froggies. Handbags made in China, reusable shopping bags. And what's more, this company's way of selling their products is especially peculiar. All their new products are launched exclusively on the weekends. Weekends? That word stuck out especially to Ban. Could it have something to do with the GE rate? Whether it's a coincidence or simply inevitable, the reason why FaithWorks products are such a big hit is thanks to the fluctuations in the GE rate. That much is certain. Remember the graph I showed you before? I mentioned that ever since around 5 years ago, the values would always go up on the weekends. That line lines up perfectly with the FaithWorks and Nozomi Group merger. Do you think FaithWorks might be manipulating the rate? And FaithWorks is not that big of a company, so I don't see that being possible. Which leaves the parent company Nozomi. I don't know how you say it. They're definitely suspicious. With the whole group at their fingertips, manipulating the GE rate would be a piece of cake. Wait, Nozomi's a given, but that's not the only thing strange about FaithWorks. Once I went back and took a look at the funds that trickled in when it was being founded, a real big shot came up. A big shot? Yes. Inohana Kozo. Haha, well if it isn't the leader of the Meiwa party. Although at the time of FaithWorks' establishment, he was still a part of the Democratic Liberal Party. It's all connected. Just like what happened with Professor Ota, as well as the earthquake from a while back. The Meiwa's party have been putting pressure on the media to keep them from covering stuff that might be related to the GE rate. And about the GE rate graph. After investigating a few various sources, I found yet another interesting pattern. As of now, there were two aspects about the GE rates that Momose had had her attention on. First, the fact that they consistently rose each and every weekend. The maximum values themselves were not particularly notable, but aside from New Year's Global Week and the Bonn Festival, they always went up without fail. And second, the drastic rise following earthquakes for both the quake 2 months ago in which there were 8 fatalities, and the quake 1 week ago, in which there were more than 100 fatalities, the GE rate had shown an extreme upsurge for a short period of time. So, about the third pattern. These spikes only happened 4 times in the past 5 years, and the times they appeared were inconsistent. The values weren't as high as when the earthquakes hit, but they were still fairly high. At first I didn't understand what it all meant, but as I looked into it, I managed to find something that would fit that description, something that only happened 4 times over 5 years. 4 times over 5 years. Huh. Oh, I see. This is Ban. Could you tone down the song and dance and just tell us? The elections. Oh. It's gone political. If we take into account both houses of the Diet in the 4 times elections were held recently, the days when the GE rate spiked matched up perfectly. I've no idea what that sentence means. Take into account both houses of the Diet in the 4 times elections. In the 4 times elections were held recently, the days when the GE rate spiked matched up perfectly. I guess I understand the vibe. Ban stroked his unshaven chin with a stern look on his face. I guess I'm not really supposed to do streams this late. It's currently 2:30. The elections were the opposition party, the Maiwa party, made great strides and became the ruling party, if I remember right, that was. 4 years ago, wasn't it? Yes, and it was 5 years ago when Inahana Kazuo suddenly left the Democratic Liberal Party, then joined the Maiwa Party soon after. A heavy silence hung in the air around the 3 of them. If I'm being honest, this is a little bit frightening. Yua's voice trembled slightly as she murmured. I was surprised myself. I didn't expect all of these things to line up so perfectly. Though to be clear, this is all still circumstantial. Even then, the only reason we came to realise this stuff was because we looked into the GE rate. Had we brushed it aside, we'd be lost right now. As he said that, Ban nonchalantly retrieved his favourite handheld fan and began waving it at himself. By the way, you two mind if we talk about that one high school girl I looked into? Mimose, bewildered by Ban's sudden change of topics, stared daggers at the detective. For goodness sake, you really should leave such nonsense at home. Yua-chan is right there, so would you please think twice before opening your mouth? Oh come on, don't be like that. A slight smirk coloured Ban's face, but his eyes did not match such a sentiment. It's about Ayoi Senna. Actually, to be more accurate, it's about Hatano Senna. For some reason, she's been using her mother's maiden name, as of late. Apparently, Hatano Senna's father, Hatano Issei, went missing, and his whereabouts are currently unknown. What we do know is that he's actually a former employee of Nozomi Technology. Huh? What do you mean? I mean what I said. Simple as that. Nozomi Technology was a company that primarily developed software for use in medical equipment. The Nozomi Group had begun with Nozomi Technology, but through repeated mergers and acquisitions, it had become one of Japan's most top leading conglomerates. 6 months ago, Atano Senna's mother and 1-year-old little sister passed away. Under mysterious circumstances, her father's disappearance came right after that. Atano Senna then caused a massive ruckus as she ran away from the facility she was entrusted to at the time. Who is talking there? What facility was that? It's called Tenji Dorm. It's a non-profit rehabilitation facility. To the public, that is. To the public? Are you suggesting there's something else to it? Well, wouldn't you know it? It has this one sponsor. One that just so happens to be the Cosmic Church of the Divine Light. The Cosmic Church of the Divine Light? Mimose grimaced at those words. She then spoke once more, her tone now clearly exasperated. Yet another name with an awful lot of trouble, some baggage behind it. I should also mention that Tenjin Dorm was under a different name up until 2 years ago. Arc Heart Medical. Oh, okay. And by sheer coincidence, the charismatic persona that's rocking Shibuya's young people, Faisor, rather Kishimoto Ayase, was staying there too. Oh, okay. Although it seems like her and Hatano Senna just barely passed by each other. Band then lead forward toward Momose and Yua. Well, there you go. Well, here's where things get interesting. Arcart Medical, unlike Tenjin Dorm, was a mental facility. They treated patients suffering from mental illnesses. However, 2 years ago, Arcart Medical suddenly became the non-profit Tenjin Dorm, a rehab facility. Due to that, all of the psychiatrists got discharged, but every single one of those same doctors got employed at the AH Tokyo General Hospital in Yoyogi. Oh. Didn't the victim of the numbskull case work in that hospital? Yeah. Takashini Fumio, if memory serves. He was a psychiatrist at AH Tokyo General Hospital. Incidentally, the director is on pretty good terms with Inohana. There's his name again. Yua-chan. That Nishijou Takumi kid you were after. He actually visited AH Tokyo General Hospital 3 times this month. Is that so? The police were following him the whole time. We know that one for a fact. Furthermore, there were even records of Nishijou being hospitalized there a few years ago, and his attending physician, Takashina Fumio. Oh. What's really strange, though, is Nishijou's medical records. He got in at 10 years old, and a few years later, about 2 years ago, the records stopped. And there's no record of him being discharged. Could someone have falsified the documents? It's up in the air, really. That was about as far as it got. Oh, and one more thing. In regards to Hatano Senna. Oh, he's doing a Columbo. There's a high school student named Orihara Kazue that she's been palling around with. She's a classmate of Nishijou's, starting about a month ago when she transferred in. This little lady's got quite a backstory to her. Her father's an employee at one of Nozumi's group's affiliates. So they've all got connections to this Nozomi. They used to live over in Hiroshima while she was over there. An incident occurred where 3 students in her grade were attacked by some unknown person and suffered serious injuries. Apparently all 3 of them got their right arms lopped off by some bladed weapon. Horrible state of affairs. Orihara happened to be present there that day. There were doubts about whether or not she was the culprit, but she wasn't arrested on the grounds that the weapon used to commit the crime didn't exist. The grapevine says it got too hard for them to stick around up there after all that, so they moved here. The weapon didn't exist? Don't you mean they couldn't find it? No, it full-on doesn't exist. They don't even know what was used to cut them up. The crime happened in such a way that no one other than Orihara could have done it, but even if she was the culprit, it was impossible for her to both pull the weapon out of nowhere and hide it somewhere. The debate raged on pretty hard on this fact, to the point where some argued whether or not it was the Kamaitaichi phenomenon. A magic trick involving someone pulling out a sword from nowhere. So that's just speculation. Who knows? This feels wrong. Yua, as if trying to stop herself from trembling, hunched down toward her knees and began to stroke both of her arms with her hands. It's hard to put my finger on it, but it's as if some much greater will than we know is at play here. Due to the nature of the job, I can't really afford to subscribe to conspiracy theories like that, but just this once, I might have to. The Miwa Party and the Zomi Group. Those both seem related to the GE rate. The cosmic church of the divine light might yield some gold if I dig just right. It never did have pleasant rumours surrounding it. Sipping some of her tea, Mose shrugged her shoulders. You never cease to amaze me, Ban-chan. Putting aside even your own job just to look into strange leads like this.
If we're getting down to brass tacks, wouldn't it be your fault for cluing me in on the GE rate?
That may be true, but... Well, don't blame me if you get yourself booted from the investigation. You baffle me with how genuinely tactless you are. I'll say that much. Those words were neither those of astonishment nor of condemnation, but rather a fairly roundabout way of praising him. Mose, despite her words, acknowledged Ban and his pursuits.
Ooh. Oh, I got a call coming in.
Ban's cell phone let out an electronic tune. Looking at the display, he saw that the caller was a restricted number. Who's this?
Hello?
Loud static could be heard from the other end of the call. Ban took the phone away from his ear and looked at the display once more. His connection was good, so he was likely not the issue. It must have been the caller causing the problem. Ban brought his ear close to the phone, believing that the call was coming from some place far away.
Who's this?
Ooh. Back off. This was one of the anonymous, threatening phone calls he'd been receiving recently. The mechanical-sounding voice was likely due to the use of a voice changer. Ban let out an audible laugh before proceeding to answer.
Oh, look who it is. You know, it keeps bugging me that I don't know your name. Mind giving me something to call you by? Besides, you tell me to back off. But what am I supposed to be backing off from? You have to be specific, or else how am I gonna know?
Back off. He always hung up there. Always after saying back off twice. The pattern repeated itself so often it was practically routine. No matter how much Ban tried to speak to them, there was never an answer. But on this day, that would finally change. Or else.
Huh?
Sir.
Who's this?
I'm sorry, I was careless. Upon hearing that, Ban finally understood whose distressed voice was on the other end of the call. Don't need a nit there.
Sewer!
Yeah. They nabbed me out of nowhere.
Who nabbed you? Where are you right now?
I don't know. Who did it? They had a black ski mask and...
How many are there? Just one. You alright, kid? Talk to me.
Help me, sir. I'm at AH2 hospital.
Sewer! Answer me! Sewer!
No matter how much Ban called out to him, there was no response from the other end of the call. With a click of his tongue, Ban hung up. Mose and Yua were looking at Ban with intense concern. Did something happen to Suwa-chan? Ban stood up then, lightly slapped his cheeks twice.
Sewer's been taken hostage. Seems like they brought him to the AH Tokyo General Hospital.
Oh no, the Mua party.
I've got no clue. But what I do know is I can't stay here.
You should call for reinforcements.
If we make a bunch of fuss, Sewer won't be alive for long. I'll go alone.
Ban placed his favourite handheld fan on top of the table, close to where Morose's hands rested. Following this, he took a good long look at each of the girls. His demeanour was like that of an entirely different person's. The unreliable middle-aged detective that he had so often played was nowhere to be seen. All there was now was an intense, fearless expression on his face.
Moma-chan, Yua-chan, you two go hide somewhere safe, got it?
Oh, okay, sudden abrupt end of the music. Through no will of my own, my legs moved in the direction of my base. They were heavy. So heavy, in fact, I wondered if my heels were packed with lead. Except it wasn't just my legs, my entire body felt heavy. but despite how hard it was to move, I kept telling myself that it was proof that my body existed, that I wasn't a delusionary existence. The sun had already set, meaning that there was no one in the city to pay any attention to me as I staggered through the streets. Before now, I would push everyone away, telling them not to look at me. I was scared of getting too much attention, of being a laughingstock. But even though I'd done that for so long, right now I felt I just wanted someone, anyone, to look at me. I wanted someone to see me with their eyes. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I was there, that I was here. That was the Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina. Is that how you say that? I needed. But no one did. If I randomly yelled out something, I'd probably get looks of disdain. But I didn't have the willpower to go through with that. Within my sweaty hand was my cell phone, the one I'd gone out to buy with Nanami. I only had 4 numbers registered on it. Rimi's cell phone, Nanami's cell phone, Masumi-kun's cell phone, and the number for my parents' house. I tried desperately to think of a way to prove it I wasn't fake with just 4 phone numbers. You are a delusionary existence. No, I wasn't a delusionary existence. I was real. I was Nishijou Takumi. Nishijou. I was 17 years old. I was a second year at Sumai Academy. I was in a family of 4. I was... Help me. Prove that I exist. My teeth were chattering. A clearly audible clacking sound. I wasn't cold whatsoever, and yet I trembled all the same. Save me. From the 4 numbers I had, I chose Masumi-kun's. Yeah? Misu.
Taku, what's up? Everything going smoothly with Rimi? Finally lose your V card. You got me to thank for that. I had the smarts to leave you two to each other, after all.
Masumi-kun was the same as ever. That at least brought me some relief. He did know me. He recognized me as Nishijou Takumi. So I wasn't a delusionary existence. Rimi had just been lying. I knew it.
Come to think of it, Minako asked me something a while ago.
Huh, Minako.
Yeah, my girl. Anyway, she asked me something. She was all, why have you suddenly been so buddy-buddy with Nishijou this past month? At first I thought, what's she talking about? For starters, I normally would never approach a guy like you. I sort of remember knowing you through Rimi, but I can't seem to remember anything beyond that, really.
It was the same. It was the same situation I'd experienced earlier. Stop it. I don't want this. Don't say anything else, please. You could have just talked about girls like you always do, so why today of all days did you have to...
Hey, Taku.
When did we become pals again? Ugh. I got too freaked out, so I instantly hung up. I felt like I was about to cry. Yet no tears came. It simply felt like my heart was being torn to shreds. Next, I decided to try calling home. Despite how hard my fingers were trembling, I somehow managed to select the number and press the call button. Nanami had registered this one. I hadn't put it in myself, so there was no doubt the call would go through. Considering what time it was, would my dad be home? Had my mum left early? Was Nanami there? Even if it did connect, what would I even say? Hey, I'm your son, right? They'd probably think I was screwing with them. That I was being stupid, and in truth it was a stupid question. What if they said no? What if they said our son Takumi is eating dinner with his sister in the living room? What if the phone call that was supposed to prove I was real actually did the exact opposite? What if they asked, "Who are you?" As the negative thoughts continued to swell up in my mind, I grew more and more afraid. I didn't want to know the outcome. I was really scared, and I couldn't control it. I felt like I was going to go insane. My breathing grew ragged. I could barely breathe anymore. Right then. The call connected. With the phone next to my ear, I prepared myself. We're sorry, you've reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, then please check. Uh-oh. No one would prove that I was me. There was no one that could. I wanted to die. Raising my head, I noticed Yamanote Dori in front of me, with lots of cars coming in and going. Okay, no delusions. Maybe it was for the best that I died. There was no value in a fake being alive. I was worthless. Even if a monster did try and live in this world, they just end up being persecuted. We're not going to do green or red. I'd neither hopes nor dreams. My existence itself was repulsive to people. I wanted to be freed from all of this. If I died, I'd be free. After all, there'd be no more need to think. There'd be nothing more to suffer from. There'd be no one to laugh at me. There'd be no one to betray me. I wanted nothingness. I brought my heavy legs one step forward. 2 steps back. In this place free of traffic lights, I staggered onto the road. I had a feeling that salvation awaited me there. A glaring brightness from a pair of headlights, the discordant noise of a car horn, the unnerving sound of squealing tyres. Come on, kill me. Kill this fake me. This unsightly monster. Kill me. But no matter how long I waited, the impact never came. I opened my eyes. A car was stopped right in front of me. I was still standing on the road, on my own 2 feet. The driver got out and started shouting at me about something. He shoved me as he kept on screaming. Why? I broke down crying then and there. Why won't you run me over? Why won't anyone save me? Why won't anyone release me? Was a fake not even worth killing? As Sakihata Rimi walked beneath the Shibuya Station underpass, she took out her cell phone. She'd walked straight here right after parting ways with Takumi. Who's she calling? She then selected the number registered in her address book as Nana-chan and placed a call. Whoa, okay. They picked up the very next moment. Yeah, it's me. Truth is, I have something to report. I think it's time to go and save Nana-chan now. Rimi had an idea of where Nanami was being held, as well as who had abducted her. A theory she'd only come to because she'd been in a similar situation herself once before. It was a past she wanted to forget, but it was one she was ready to confront in order to rescue Nanami, no matter how steeped in darkness those memories may be. The reaction of whom she'd called was exactly as Rimi had predicted, leading her to inevitably start laughing. You don't trust me, do you? I'm telling you, it'll be fine. Both her voice and expression were cheerful. Not an ounce of the grim resolve she carried could be felt. To an outside observer, it simply looked as if she was having a fun, engaging conversation. Besides, that's all in the past. If I have to choose between my feelings or saving Nana-chan, I think it's pretty obvious which one I'm going to pick. Like I told you, I want to be your strength. But also, I don't want to drag Taku into this. Oh, that's the person on the other side of the phone. As she said that, Rimi's expression clouded over. Who is this, do we think? Is it Rimi or is it Nana-chan? It can't be Nana-chan. Because we're trying to save Nana-chan, so who would it be? Whatever. Is it okay if I tell you something? It won't take long. I told Taku a lot of awful things. And while I know it's selfish to say this, after everything I've done, all the time I spent together with him, it was all really, really fun. Even though it was all make-believe. Even though it was all steeped in delusions. My school life. Taku and I going to that school. Being friends with Dai-chan. Me trying hard to stay by Taku's side. And even Taku's existence itself. Little by little, Rimi's pace slowed. Multiple strangers passed her by. Taku's so helpless, weak and pathetic. He's the kind of boy a normal girl would never even look at, let alone go near. As she spoke, she squeezed the hand she held the cell phone with. And yet, despite it all, my heart tells me how fun it was. Despite it all, my heart tells me how much I wanted to spend more time with him. What do these feelings mean? Looking up, she saw the neon-lit night sky. No stars were in sight. For an ephemeral moment. Ephemeral? Rimi stood beneath it. A slight smile rose to her face when she received a response. Well, I've got to hang up now. It'll be fine, really. You don't have to worry about a thing, I promise. I'll put an end to everything myself. Okay. Takumi? Oh, okay, so that's Takumi. So that's the real Takumi. Then we have Taku. Having lost all of my willpower before I realised it, I found myself back in my base. I didn't know how I'd gotten here after failing to die at Yamato Dori. My memory was hazy. This container, who put it here and how? It was something I'd never even thought about until now. But now that I couldn't help but notice how odd it felt. The more I thought about it, the more the feeling encroached upon my mind. The moment I closed the door, the room went pitch black. Leaning against the door, I simply stood there, still as could be. Inside the quiet room, all that could be heard was the sound of my shallow breathing and the hum of the fan inside my PC. I thought that maybe surrounding myself in darkness would make things easier, since I wouldn't have to be conscious of my pitiful self. And it had the exact opposite effect. It had the exact opposite effect. Unable to see anything, and with nothing else to listen to, Rimi's cruel words from before repeated endlessly in my mind. You are a delusionary existence. Ugh. My own moans disgusted me more than ever before. I even felt nauseous. I was already a disgusting freak even before all of this. But if my very existence itself was warped, I was already beyond saving. I wanted to disappear completely. As I tripped over the trash scattered across the floor, I stumbled my way to the end of the room. I turned the lights on, scaring away the dark. I then grabbed the Serotan figure, post-awakening version that had just so happened to enter the line of my sight, and sat down in my chair. I brought her close to my chest. She was really, really small. And she was really hard, too. She didn't breathe, nor did she speak. She didn't have the warmth that a 3D girl had. We're going to do no delusions again. Despite that, she was all I had left. Rimi had left me. I didn't know where Nanami was. Senna had attacked me. Kozupi hadn't protected me. Yua was my enemy. And Ayase was hospitalized. These were the only girls I knew the names of, and none of them would do anything for me. Reality was harsh. It didn't give a damn about a monster like me. With my trembling hands, I tightened my grip on Serotan. Then tighter. Then tighter. Tight enough to break her. I wanted to disappear completely. If that was how I thought, shouldn't I just act? Ultimately, I was just playing the tragic protagonist right now. Even if I was overcome with sorrow, no one was going to empathize with me. Nobody was looking at me. Nobody was here for me. They'd all abandoned me. No, I didn't have any real bonds. There was no one in my life I could count as a friend. I didn't even have a family. I was a fake after all. I'm just talking nonsense at this point. Just shut up and die already. I was convinced there was going to be someone there then. Sitting down Serotan, I sluggishly got up from my chair and found a plastic cord lying under my bed. I picked it up, made a ring big enough for my head to fit in, and tied the other end to the pipe. Oh my god. To a pipe of the loft bed. I'm gonna do it. I really am. I'm gonna do it, so... There was no one here to stop me. But of course there wasn't. I was the only one in this room. I managed to secure the plastic cord quite well. Dying is surprisingly easy, I thought to myself. I put my head inside the ring and tightened it around my neck. Normally you couldn't hang yourself just from a loft bed. It wasn't high enough. But if I kicked my legs out from under me, then height wasn't an issue. What I needed was the resolve to die. Now at the end I looked over at Serotan, who smiled at me from atop my desk. Starting with Serotan, my waythroughs lined up on the shelves would be the ones that would see me to the other side. I was struck by sorrow. Loneliness filled my heart. I felt a twinge in my nose. Goodbye. Placing all my weight on the cord, I kicked my legs out. Gah! The cord started strangling me. It was putting immense pressure on my neck. It dug into my flesh hard. It hurts. Gah! 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 Before I knew it, I was unconsciously trying to relieve the pressure with my fingers. I moved my legs back into place, then went to stand up. But if I did that, I wouldn't be able to die. If I didn't keep all my weight on the cord, I wouldn't be strangled, so I endured it. Ugh. Ugh. This is quite a way to go. My throat hurt. Rather than being able to breathe, the pain of it digging into my neck was the worst part. Hurry up. Hurry up and die already. The suffering continued. It was so immense I couldn't even pass out. My body swayed aimlessly. Around and around it swayed, my legs kicking up and down. The pipe on my loft bed started creaking. And suddenly, my body lost all support. And I violently crashed to the floor, landing flat on my ass. The impact I felt in the bones of my pelvis made me writhe in pain. Gah! And at the same time, I was desperately sucking in air. As tears welled up in my eyes, I looked up at the cord that had been tied to the bed, only to find that it had snapped in two at the centre. What the fuck? What the fuck? Of all times for me to fail, why at the very end when it mattered most? I knew I was beyond saving. A good-for-nothing loser that hadn't managed to accomplish even a single noteworthy thing in his entire life. Not that I was a person to begin with. But to fail even when trying to die, it was just too much. Why couldn't I die? Even though I wanted to die. Now that I knew how painful it was to be hanged, I could never have the will nor the courage to attempt it again. Someone. Anyone. Teach me a way I can die in peace, please. Seeing my shameless tendency to rely on others rear its head once more, I was hit with a wave of nausea. I really was completely and entirely useless. Wow, okay. And now we've got Ban. He's about to jump into the hospital and save Rumor. Is that his name? I think that's his name, isn't it? What's his name? Let's find his name before we end the episode. His name... His name is Sewer. Of course it is. Alright, we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Chaos Head, and I'll see you next time. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye.